All right, everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video about some of the supplies that I use every day. We're mostly going to be looking at eyebrow stuff, but if you have any questions about other supplies or how another procedure is done, please just let me know. To start off with, I just wanted to show you what I use for mapping. We use string here. It's just regular thread, and I just clip a piece off, and then I put some of this pencil on it, and then I use this, and it makes it an extra straight line basically that I can kind of rub across the skin on your forehead and around your eyebrows to make sure that we get a good even brow. So that's what that's for. The rest of the brow is filled in with this. This is just a Sharpie brand China marker. You just sharpen it and it makes a really fine point and it just wipes right off. But this is the pencil that I use to pre-draw your brow shape. Something else that I use to help get them symmetrical is this sticker here. This goes across your forehead, and as you can see, there's markings. And so when we mark one side, we can just copy it exactly to the other side, and that's how we know we're getting perfectly symmetrical brows, or at least as much as a human face can have, because the brow bone isn't symmetrical. Okay, this is something else that I use to measure. It's called the golden ratio tool, and so as you can see, when you move it, they all move together. So I won't go into detail about how and why, but this is something that is used to measure your brows. And then this little guy, I just like to use to check and make sure they're the same length. So I'll measure from the front of the brow to the end of the brow, and then it stays right in that spot, and then I'll go to the other side and I'll do that on the other side and make sure that they're the same. So that's pretty much all of our mapping tools. Mapping is just getting your main eyebrow shape. Okay, so move these over here. This is a microblade. For those of you who don't know, this is a microblading hand tool. It's got a little row of needles on the end of it. I don't know if the glare from the light's kind of covering it, but you can see that. And how it's used is you basically just scrape a very shallow cut into the skin, and the pigment goes in there and that heals up. I don't offer microblading anymore because I prefer to do hair strokes actually with this. This is the tattoo machine that I use, and it's wireless, so you can just turn it on, turn it off, and it's pretty quiet. It's not loud and scary. And this is a needle cartridge, just an example of one that I may use for a brow procedure. And this goes into the end of this. They're all individually packaged and sterilized. Everything I use is either sterilized, disposable, or completely covered. For example, this, I cover it with a different bag each time. My machine is covered every single time as well. But anyways, back to the hair strokes. I like to, instead of making a cut in the skin with this, the microblade, I like to actually just draw a line in the skin, which makes a hair stroke. And instead of making a cut that's just a big open, not big, but it's an open wound, those don't stay crisp. It'll stay crisp and it'll make a real pretty after picture, but that's only going to last a few months. I have moved over to what's called a nano brow, and that's done by the machine. You draw a line, and so instead of cutting it, it's just poking little holes closely together to where it makes a hair stroke effect. It's still going to blur eventually over time because that's just the nature of the human skin, but they last longer. So if you're interested in the hair stroke effect and nano brows, please reach out to me and let me know, and I'd be glad to explain the differences between that and microblading as well. Here's some of my pigments that I use. This, for example, is a brow pigment, and you can just see that's kind of what they look like. There's all different colors, and the color that I choose is going to be based on the color of your natural brow hair, if you have any. If you don't have any, then we're going to take into effect your the hair on your head, the color your brow hair maybe once was when you did have some. And also, in any case, we're also going to take into effect your skin tone. So the pigment choosing is something that I like to do, and because I know my pigments really well, and they don't look the same in the skin as they do in the bottle. So that's something that does take a little bit of expertise on my part. Here's another, this is a different brand, but it's also an eyebrow pigment, and again, they come in all different colors. And these two are very different. I wouldn't necessarily, like, even if they were the exact same color, I wouldn't necessarily, they can't be used interchangeably. This may be good for somebody with really oily skin, and this is better for somebody with dry, mature skin. So anyway, here's a lip pigment, just for you to see. There's all different colors of these. Here is my numbing cream. I pre-numb you for about 20 minutes before we even get started. It doesn't matter what procedure it is. We numb first, and then after we get started, I add more numbing cream as we go. These I like to, if we're doing brows, shape up the brow hair with these. So if there's hair outside of where we're going to be working, we can trim that up with this, and it's just a little razor. You can buy them anywhere, and they're handy for just kind of keeping hair off your face, but that's what I use. I don't tweeze, and we just shape up with this, and then you can even take this home with you. This is the healing ointment that I like to recommend. It's nothing fancy, but it's Aquaphor, it's tried and true, and it works, and I do send this home with you. And for example, I send it in a little bag. Here's your Aftercare bag. When you're all finished with your appointment, I send everybody with one of these, and then depending on what procedure you get an Aftercare card. This one is for eyebrows, but we have them for lip, blushing, and eyeliner as well. Here's your do's and don'ts. And then on the other side, it's got like what to expect from day to day. All right. So that's just a little tour of what I like to use. Oh, I didn't explain what this was. This is just green soap. It cleans the skin for tattooing, and it kills, you know, microorganisms and stuff like that. So it's just kind of an anesthetic soap. Anyway, that's my materials that I like to use, and I hope you enjoyed and found this useful. Please let me know if there's anything else that you would like to learn about. Have a great day.